I wanted to go over with you here how to read a grade summary report. So whenever I update grades, this is really how you can read the grade assignment or read the grade report and tell what your grade is. Number one, the first thing you need to know is how to find your class. Generally, I post them in order by period, and you can see right here the number 3 indicates that that happens to be my third period class. Then it tells what the subject is. Well, the subject of my third period class at this point in time was U.S. history. And then here it says period 3 again. So there's actually 2 places that it has the period. And then it lists block 6, which that tells what grading term it is. So this grade report is from our last grading period, block 6. Then we have the assignment number. Every assignment has a number to it. And so as you can see, I had 13 assignments, which it also says over here. There were 13 assignments at this particular point in time in the grading period. And down here I have the max points. These are the max points that were available on each given assignment. Now you may notice that assignment 7 here has a 0. And that's because that was an extra credit assignment. So there was no max point for it, but it also doesn't count against students if they didn't get anything on that. So 0 was the total possible value of that particular assignment. But all the rest have a point total. And the check marks right here means that the grading has been completed. All that means is that those assignments are included in the grading. If it doesn't have a check mark, it means that it isn't yet counted towards the final grade. Now, with the extra credit, there's no check mark, but it doesn't really make a difference because if a student has a grade in there, in an unchecked box, that grade does calculate into their total, but a student who does not have any point value on one without a check mark, it doesn't calculate into their grade. That's really what that means. So, and the student's ID is what I use, and once again, this is done for anonymity. That way, nobody knows, whose grade it is. So each student has to know what their own ID number is. Then, as you come across over here, you get the student's percentage in the course with their current letter grade, what it would be right at that point in time. And if we look at this top student, the top student got full credit on every single assignment except for the extra credit assignment, which of course had a 0 point total. That student got 2 extra credit points on that assignment, which actually then at the end of the grading period actually gives the student more than 100%. So the student had 102.66% when the grade report was done, which is an A+. 100% or anything above 100% is an A+. Anything lower than 100% will be no higher than an A. Here we can see the second highest grade in the class was 91.88%, which was an A-. Third highest grade was 90.25, also an A-. And then we get down into the B range. But that's the grade breakdown. That's how you can tell what your grades are. In particular interest for students is to see what the points they get on each given assignment. So, for example, if we look at assignment 1, and you might wonder, well, what is assignment 1? Well, the easy way to tell is that if you scroll down here, I'm going to scroll down here, but if you look at the gradebook summary, and I usually post this, tape it to the page below the student's grades, but you can see there is a code here. Here's the assignment number, and then it tells you what category it's in, participation, and a description of that assignment. So if we look at assignment 1, that was in the category of participation. It's the participation points, which is 40% of the student's grade. And the description for assignment 1 is April 11th through the 15th. So that means these were the participation points for that week. I do 1 point per day, so there were 5 points for that week. Here you can see the date assigned, which would be April 11th, date due April 15th. Okay, so that's how you can read it. You can tell what the assignment is. We can also look at some of these other assignments. For example, as you see, 1 through 7 here are all participation points. Now, as you might know, 7 was put in as extra credit. That was basically the last week of school. The last week of school, I only counted those days were counted for extra credit points. But as we look down here at the rest, you can see assignment 8 was an assignment, which is the assignments are 45% of the grade. And you can see the description, it was the Nixon years, which really what that meant is because I used Pear Deck, it was the Pear Deck presentation that we had on the Nixon years. And then you can see I had more assignments. Here's an assessment. Assessments are 15% of the grade. The assessment here was for an assessment called Iran-Contra. And once again, you got the dates assigned. So that's how you can read. If you see an assignment up here, you can, and you wonder, what that assignment is, that's how you can look it up. Generally speaking, most grading periods have 6 weeks, and so I will have participation points usually as the first 6 assignments in the grade book. And then we start getting into the other assignments with the numbers that follow. So once again, to look at an example, let me come down here a ways. You can see, okay, this student right here on assignment 1 got 0 out of 5 points. Okay, well what that means is that this student got no participation points for week 1. Now the reasons why that student got no participation points, that could be the student was absent the whole entire week, or it could be they were tardy for the whole entire week, or maybe they were off task during that whole week, or it could be a combination thereof, but ultimately at the end of the week they didn't earn a point for a single day during that week. Over here, the same student got 4 out of 5 on the second week, so they probably, more than likely, were tardy or absent on at least one day out of that week, but got points for the other days. And then they got full credit on the next. As we continue looking at some of these assignments, though, you can also see gaps. If you see a blank spot, like right here, for example, so if we look at this student, and I follow across, and I see this blank spot, well, that falls under assignment number 11. So there were 5 points possible on assignment number 11, and that there is a check mark there, which means that one does count towards the grade, but the student has no grade entered. That means that that student did not complete that assignment. Now let's see what assignment that is. Once again, I go here and I look at the assignment key, and assignment 11 was the assessment on Iran-Contra. So this student did not take the assessment on Iran-Contra. Now if the student had a 0 on that, and if I look back up here at that particular student's assignment 11, if there was a 0 entered, then that meant that the student actually took the assessment but got every question wrong. But that's not the case. Here this student was not present or never took that assessment and didn't make it up. So it is a missing assignment. Blanks would be missing assignments. You can see all of these students down here who ended up in the F range, all of them failed to take the assessment. This student here also missed assignment 12. Once again, I can come down here to see what assignment 12 was. Well, assignment 12 was the Clinton administration. So that would have been the Pear Deck. that was done on the Clinton administration. So they had another missing assignment. So that's how a student can read this gradebook summary. So you do need your student ID number. That's the student ID number you received when you first enrolled in the Oakdale Joint Unified School District. That is a good number to have memorized. And if students need that, they can see me and get their student ID number. But then after that, they do need to try to memorize it. But that's how you can read. You can see exactly what you get on any given assignment. For example, if we look at first period classes, historically, we have a lot of students that do arrive late for school on a habitual basis. And as a result, you may see a lot of students, especially those that end up down here in the DNF range, that have lost participation points or receive few or no participation points because they are routinely showing up late for school. So, you know, but that's important. If you start looking at the grade report and you start noticing that, yeah, you're getting here tardy all the time, and as a result, you're losing points, you can see what effect that's having on your grade. So that's how you read a grade report.